One, two, three, the long feed.
Welcome back to another loaded episode of the Lawn Feed Podcast, where we simplify DIY lawn care in a space where all experiences are welcome. No ego. All egos are left at the door. We're not letting those bad boys in. We celebrate all of the successes that are had in our journeys, and we are welcoming mistakes. We call those learning moments, and we grow from them. So that is us as the Lawn Feed. I am your host, Ope. It's Mo Time. Chris from Ope. It's Mo Time. And as always, I am joined by Vince from Rooted Lawn Co. and Andrew from the Dad Bod Lawn. And today we have a special guest. During the off season, we like to just get out there and connect with some of our friends, both within and with outside of the lawn care community, but really who just share common interest of not necessarily just being a lawn dad, but being a dad with children too. So tonight we have a special guest, John from John the Dad 16. That's his handle on social media. And he is known for his hilarious yet super relatable dad style content. John, thank you for freeing up an evening, taking the kids out of the picture for a little bit and coming on to join the show. Welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me.
And you know all of the things about grass, I assume, seeing as if you're on a lawn care podcast.
Yeah.
All of the grass things.
When Andrew first asked me to come on, I was like, I don't know if you want me on your lawn.
I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy.
I'm not that guy.
We're happy to have you. So before we get into more about John and listen to his story, check out all we have to offer on our website at thelawnfeed.com. That's for podcast info and to learn about us as your hosts, get some fresh merch and elevate your lawn apparel and much, much more. As always, we want to thank our friends over at Twin City Seed for powering this episode of the Lawn Feed Podcast. They are celebrating their 30th anniversary. Twin City Seed offers elite quality and custom blends of grass seed to homeowners, turf professionals, and more. Home of the all-new Resilience 2, Blue Resilience, and Fielder's Choice blends. They ship to all 50 states. Check them out at www.twincityseed.com. And the banner, of course, will offer all of those offers that are going on, along with codes for free shipping for your next seeding project. And through December 24th, it is 10% off all gift cards. If you're looking for a little stocking stuffer. So there you have it. Thank you
it's
to our friends
easier to fit
over there.
A gift card in your stocking than it is a 50-pound bag of seeds. So smart choice.
You got that. It is a smart choice. And you get to save some dough while doing it. Right, Vince?
I like saving dough.
We got some dad's wins and losses to talk about. Vince, I'll toss the ball to you.
Yeah, so if you guys are new to the podcast, one thing we like to do is always kind of put our selves in a little bit of vulnerability and share with the other dads of the wins and losses that we have regularly, and just kind of coming together. So John, you're on the podcast, you're in the hot seat. Give us, I'm sure you have some wins and losses. Let's hear them.
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind with Christmas here, and I don't know, the controversy of how soon can you put up the Christmas lights and the Christmas decor, but
June.
Yeah. Okay. So I try to wait till after Thanksgiving, but this year, Black Friday, 8 a.m., getting the stuff down from the attic. We went and got a brand new tree. This is my win. We got a brand new tree. I got everything down. I got everything prepped for my wife. Got the kids involved. Super fun day. Then into my loss, I started doing the lights on the roof, and I got a little tired. I got a little cold, and I was like, I'll finish this later. And I only did about 30% of my roof, and that was 4 days ago, and I haven't gone up and finished.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting up there, and it rained. We've gotten below freezing, so when you drive past my house, you just see these string lights just sitting on top of my roof.
Are they lit up?
No.
Oh, you should just light them up.
They were the first day. I came out, I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. but my wife's just like, so, typical, you don't finish what you start. And so it's like, oh, God, like another notch against me on that regard. But yeah, one of these days soon, I need to get up there and finish. But it's just,
Well, you can be like Chris and you can put on some Mariah Carey and get back into the old jingle jolly spirit.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Where are you located, John?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So when I say June, it's all relative, right? Because in like June it's like 40 degrees where I'm at. So like that's cool. And it's still like 90 degrees where you're at. So that's probably why there's that fluctuation of the calendar.
Yeah. We definitely, I guess you'd say we have all 4 seasons. Our spring is about 2 weeks, which sucks. But this summer we were like breaking all sorts of terrible records. Like we had the most 100-degree days in June ever, and then we had like the most consecutive days over 100 degrees in the summer, and I think it was like 107 for 3 or 4 weeks straight.
That sounds miserable.
It was, yeah. I mean, I'm fine when it's 100, 101, but I mean, it was just like, we just can't even go to the pool. So it was brutal. So I'm happy with it's like 45 degrees outside, which is just wonderful.
Absolutely. You got a win for us?
Well, the win was that I started early. That was the win. I like, it was such a good day.
Yeah.
I got everything out. Like, I just felt like I was Mr. Christmas. I had the Christmas music playing, and like, I really wanted to like enjoy Christmas this year, because I feel like it flies by, and it really flies by if you wait till like 2 weeks before Christmas to get your lights up. So I was just like riding such a Christmas high, and then I just completely failed by not finishing the lights, which is just so on brand for me to not finish.
Wait, you don't finish projects?
Huh.
I thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
I bought a bathroom fan like a year ago, and I still haven't installed it.
I'm not a kid.
See, that's
whatever.
That takes a minute.
Intentions.
It's the bad ones are when you finally do it and it takes like 5 minutes, and you're like, man, I waited 6 months. And that took 5 minutes.
Right. Absolutely.
It's so refreshing to hear that other people go through that too.
Yeah. See, we're not alone. You're not alone either, John.
God.
No, that's where the John the Dad stuff kind of came from, was just dunking on myself, basically. So
right. Well, let's get into that kind of stuff. Let's talk a little bit about you. Just kind of tee up your more information about you, maybe your family, your background, maybe where'd you go to school? What'd you go to school for? This kind of little background info.
Yeah, sure. So I was born in Dallas, but moved to Colorado in 1997 with my family. We lived in a town called Edwards, which is near Beaver Creek in Vail. So that was wild, moving from the concrete city that is Dallas up to Colorado, and skiing and playing hockey and all that stuff. Went to University of Denver, did undergrad and grad school there, and then immediately moved back to Dallas. Met my wife a year later. We've been married since 2015, have a 4-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. I actually live 5 blocks away from my childhood home, which is pretty cool.
Oh, no kidding. That's sweet.
When I first moved back to Dallas, it's not, I mean, it's a suburb. It's not a suburb, but it's like, 15 miles north of downtown. And I was like, I'm never moving up there. Are you kidding me? Like, no way. I'm going to live where like all the bars and stuff are. And then once we started looking at houses, we're like, oh yeah, this is the move.
It's amazing how things change as you get a little bit older and life changes.
Yeah. And now I would love to just live like in the woods.
Yeah.
Yep. I hear you.
100%. We're all on the same page.
Yeah. I went to go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I went to Broken Bow, Oklahoma. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's in the woods in Oklahoma, near Arkansas, a couple weeks ago. And it's just, there's just 60 deer outside in the morning, and took my son fishing and all that. And it's just like, then you drive back into Dallas, which is just, I mean, I love Dallas for various reasons, but it's like anything but nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's totally different, right? It's getting away from something completely different from where you live, especially when the kids are involved. It's so cool, and like that's something that they remember too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's gosh, if you could do anything, I think that's one of my biggest things. Just get the F out, check out, and those are the best. So, so you obviously run a pretty comical account. I was searching through your stuff. You popped up randomly before I started to like talk to you, right? So it's one of those things where you see it, it's super relatable, it's funny, it's dad content, relationship humor. How did you get your start in social media? And then like, how do you come up with all of these ideas outside of just living through it every day?
Yeah, I've wanted to make videos for a long time. You know, I'd make home movies and stuff as a kid, and then like in college, like I just felt like my friends and I, you know, you're sitting around, and you're like, we all like Chappelle's Show, and I mean this is even pre Key and Peele, but we were just too like focused on drinking beer and never really made it happen. And then Vine came out, and I was too much of a pansy to really go for it. Then I didn't really know what to do, and then now, you know, TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff. And then I worked in advertising agencies for 10 years and was around social media and marketing and all that, and a lot of creativity, right? Because it's ad agencies. But the whole time I was never in the creative department, so I was always told like, you're not a creative person. Your account service, you manage the clients. So I don't know. That always kind of was like, no, I have ideas, but you know, just nobody. I don't know how to get them out. So 3 years ago, I got this job at Can-Am, which Can-Am on-road vehicles, off-road vehicles. We also own Sea-Doo and Ski-Doo. I'm sure you guys know Ski-Doo up there. And the job is managing our brand ambassadors. So that's influencers, content creators. There's some celebrities and stuff. And it's really like, you know, working with them to integrate our vehicles into their social media and doing activations and stuff. And, you know, I worked with Matt Pittman of Meat Church Barbecue and Ed Reed, who played for the Ravens, and, you know, Captain Lee from Below Deck, like all these really interesting people. And and awesome. a lot of people, like, not that those people aren't like us, but we're not, you know, Pro Bowl NFL players, but there's a lot of people that were just, you know, content creators, right? They make videos, and they're just kind of regular people. And I worked with those people for so long, and like I was like, I can do this. Like these people are no different than any of us. They just like took the chance and you know, decided to start filming themselves doing whatever it was, whether it's you know, it wasn't all comedy, it was fashion or whatever. And so yeah, I in December I just was like, I'm 34, I'm gonna be 35 soon. If I don't do this, I'm never gonna do it, and I will be really, really mad at myself. Like it wasn't even an option. So like January 1st, made my first TikTok. It's so funny looking back. It's so terrible.
I went all the way back to your first ones.
Did you?
Because yeah, I did. And you can see I love seeing it because like you can see the progression.
See where I got
like,
the new iPhone and like March or something?
Yeah. The picture starts to get better. The audio sounds better. Yeah.
I figured out cinematic mode in May. Yeah. I think my second video is like my wife's off camera and she's throwing meatballs at me. And it's like, you know, when your toddler's throwing food at
the spaghetti. Yep.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's cool to look back at that because I was just like, you know, just all those like quotes of like, you know, you got to start somewhere and whatever. And so, yeah. So, I mean, it's still growing and I really feel like I'm just kind of hitting my stride, but I've had a lot of success and a lot of, you know, I've had a few go off and go viral, which is really cool. I went from 700 followers in June, and I got 14,000 followers a week later from
the 20 million view video.
Yeah, the 20 million view video.
that'll help.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so I'm doing something. People like it.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, I focus on dad stuff, relationships, and then 90s millennial stuff. Just kind of throw that in there here and there. So it's fun, man. I feel so much more content with my life.
How do you come up with all your ideas? What do you do?
I mean, a lot of them, especially with the dad stuff, it just, I mean, I'm sure Andrew can relate. Like, it just kind of, you just kind of live the scenario and you're like, huh, that's pretty funny. And then a lot of times when you start to develop it, like, I don't know, just through the editing process, you're like, oh, it'd be funny if I added this sound or this music or you know, I use the app CapCut,
Yeah.
which is
Great.
just so great. Like
We
that
all
was
use
a
that too.
that was a big reason why I didn't make videos forever. Was I was actually a film minor in school, and I learned to use Final Cut and Premiere Pro and all that, and I was like, I can't make videos unless I have the editing software.
Mhm.
You know, I was being such a perfectionist. I'm sure you could do it with a podcast. You're like, oh, I got to do it perfect or I'm not going to do it at all. And now the fact that you can edit these videos, these
Right.
super 4K videos on your phone, it's like, there's no excuse.
Are you still
No,
using your iPhone to shoot?
Yeah.
Or did you upgrade?
Still using
Now,
my
when you
iPhone.
think of an idea, like you're popping out content, I feel like every 2 days. I don't know, maybe
Every day.
It's every day.
Yeah.
So, are you like the kind of person that like thinks of an idea and you go and film it, or do you just like write stuff down as you think of it and then kind of piece it together or script it? What's your process?
Yeah, I have a list that I keep. But I'd say I have a list on my phone, but I feel like I also have like kind of a list, like a queue, a batting order up here. And then sometimes like something will just pop in my head and I'll just go do it if I have the time. And like, you know, it depends on how much time I have. Like, luckily I
Sure.
work from home and, you know, I work 40-hour weeks. So like I'll film in the morning or on my lunch break. But if I'm like, oh man, like I do not have time today, I'll just like, what's something that's 6 seconds? Because some of them, again, as y'all know, like they take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Especially those skits.
yeah, you gotta
I'll
like,
take changes.
I go sit in front of my freaking closet and I'm like, all right, like I did these ones for Fisher Price that went off like the what's it called, the kick and play piano
The music,
mat. Yeah,
which I had no idea what that was, and I was actually watching your videos at work the other day, and there was one of my coworkers was like, "Oh my God, you're listening to that song." I go, "What song?" And she goes, "My niece has that toy." I go, "Oh, it's from a toy." I didn't even know. And like
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah, all these songs that he's doing are from a toy." And I was like, I had no idea. I thought he was just making up bangers on his
No,
own. I didn't know.
and I think that's why like 70% of my followers are women. I mean,
Don't
'cause
Matt Rife 'em.
It's more no. I mean, it's more. Yeah, right. No, I'll be careful. But it's more mom. Not all of it, but like, you know,
Right.
that stuff.
It's parenting humor.
Yeah,
is
it's
what
parenting,
it is.
but I do think some of those videos, the moms maybe connect with
Right.
it a little bit more just on
Yeah,
some of
which is
those.
good.
But yeah, like on some of those, I have like 6 outfit changes, and you're like, all right, what's the trombone player gonna wear? What's the guitar player gonna wear? What's the audio engineer gonna, you know? And so you're sitting there like, what's the wife that comes in? Like I have this pink sweater that my wife doesn't even use anymore because I wear it. She's like,
You
can just have it.
commandeered it.
Yeah. So it's I've got some, like I have this idea called Pimp My Crib, where it's just Pimp My Ride, but he pimps the crib out, and I like wrote the script, and it's gonna take me 3 hours to film the freaking thing, and I haven't done it yet.
That
So-
better get you a millie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing.
Usually those ones won't, right? Like the ones that you put a ton of time into,
They don't
do
do well.
anything.
They
Mhm.
don't
Your
do well.
6-second green screen video pops off.
The 20 million video, that was like, it's me hiding in a rounder in JCPenney in the 90s.
Oh, that's the one
Yeah,
that popped
and
off.
And it's all green screened. It probably took you like a minute to film it.
It took
and
me,
be done.
we were running late to a friend's house. It was July 1st and a Saturday. And Saturdays like are never good days for me, but I realize now none of that matters. And I'd been thinking about it, and I was like, I just figured out the green screen, how to do it on CapCut, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it real quick. It probably took me, I don't know, 2 minutes to film it, and then you hear like a speaker overhead talking, like, you know, Jonathan, your mom's looking for you. I'm
Mhm.
using my kid's cash register toy that has a microphone in it, and I just recorded that into my phone.
I thought you used like a audio
No.
like
It's just a stupid kid's toy.
FX or something.
And so I upload it, and I go to my friend's house, and I check like an hour later, and it has 120,000 views. And mind you, I have 700 followers at this point. So I'm like,
I gotta go, guys.
yeah. So I was just glued to my phone the whole night, and it's just, you know, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. I'm like, when's it going to stop? And
Wow.
yeah, so it's just, it's cool, man. Like when you're creative, I mean, you guys are creating a podcast. Like, I'm sure it's just like, you know, when you create something, it feels really good, you know, like
Right.
consuming is fun and watching Netflix or whatever is fine. But like, I just feel like some of us are put on this earth to create things, and it can be, it's like when you mow your lawn, like you're not really creating, you're taking away, I guess, but like, you know, you feel good that you did something and that you made an impact on whatever it is. So even if it's something small, so to just like get a bunch of people to laugh and feel better, especially with how crazy everything is right now, it's
Right.
very fulfilling.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
No doubt. So you're obviously a dad. So I think I heard you say that they're 4 and 2 earlier. Tell us a little bit about your experience of being a dad, and you know what are some of the biggest learning moments of being a dad that you've witnessed so far, and with kids that age. We're all in the similar boat, all with young kids, but it's always good to toss the ball around here.
Sure. So yeah, 4-year-old boy, 2-year-old girl. My son was just really hard. As soon as he came, like he wouldn't even come out. They had to do a C-section, which I think is fitting
Stubborn from the
for his
get-go.
personality. Yeah, she was dilated for like a full day, and they're like, "We got to go get this kid." He cried the first 3 months of his life, and now he's 4, and he's really turned the corner. They said that he had what's it called, sensory processing disorder, like about a year and a half ago. Just got really overwhelmed, really stressed, and he's a big kid. He's 4 and he's 51 pounds. He's like already wearing like 6-year-old clothes. And then my daughter is just the sweet little angel, although she just entered the terrible twos and is like on a rampage.
We just entered that phase. It's
crazy.
bad. Yeah.
She was so sweet, just nothing but smiles and like our little angel, and now it's like, no, go away, and like just screaming at you. And
so it's not just me.
no,
My son was more of a terrible 3s. He just hit 3 this summer.
3
and
was
he's-
worse for him.
Yeah, he's more of a terrible 3 than terrible 2.
Yeah.
4 is even better. Buckle up.
Yeah. 4 has, well, yeah, I mean, and
For different reasons.
It's really different for everybody, it seems like. But
Yeah.
I mean, so to answer your question, like try and do it succinctly, like I thought this was gonna be easier than it is.
For sure.
Dude.
I didn't think it'd be easy, but you know, my wife, even, who's very, very even tempered, has said I didn't realize I had such a temper. Not well, she said that about herself, but like same for me, but times 10. Like
Right.
my dad had a really, really bad temper, and I feel like when you become a parent, like all these like repressed things that maybe you didn't know you had, like start coming out, and you start turning into your, it's like those progressive commercials, you're turning into your parents, like and it's really like you kind of have to, like, my dad used to like scream and yell, not all the time, but when he got mad, and he got mad more than your average person, and I don't want to be that way, you know. So I've really had to work, and then I get this son who's super like tough and doesn't want to listen, and you know, so you just have to like, well, you don't have to, you can just, I don't know, not be self-aware at all and just be like, well, that's how my dad was, so that's how I'm gonna be. But you really got to like be considerate of like, how do I don't want this kid to grow up and resent me even at 4. You know, and just figuring out, how do I turn this kid into a good kid, but like a good citizen and a good sibling and a good future husband and whatnot. And I know he's 4. I don't mean to be like too dramatic, but
No, these are the foundational moments that you need to be preparing and teaching, and yeah.
so just realizing that, well, seeing those traits in him too, the stubbornness and like, just, you're like, oh, I guess that makes me feel better that that's hereditary, because, you know, he's super like forgetful. He can't find anything anywhere. Just like, hey, where's my drink? It's like right there, buddy.
You're right. You did a video about that,
I did
and
that
you
last
as the dad too.
Yeah, and the mom. That one hit 2 million last week, and that, again, I try to be careful not to like dunk on dudes and dads too much, because all the comments are women being like, my husband does that too. Oh my god. I'm like, oh, sorry guys. But yeah. So anyway, just trying to help the kid, like, not go through some of the things that I went through. And he's very sensitive, like I am, and he's an emotional kid, like I am. And my dad, I'm adopted. And my dad not only was just a baby boomer born in 1950, so he had that mentality, but I also feel like because I was adopted, I don't think that my dad fully understood like how emotional I would get and how like sensitive I was to things. And so I feel like with my son, I see that in him, and I know how to like handle it better. You know,
Yeah.
where it's not just like rub some dirt on it. Why are you crying? You know, which was kind of how like my dad was. And now for me, and not to say I haven't been like, stop crying, but I feel like I'm a little more empathetic with like what the kid's going through, which is nice.
Right.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I feel like I could echo that with you with this whole 2-year-old about to go 3. Our one daughter is very headstrong. So I have twin girls.
Nice.
They're both, they're going to be 3 here soon. And the one's going through a phase now where it's just like you see the mirror image of you, like basically talking to you, and you're like, you got to take a step back and you got to think, okay, when I was a kid, how did I, or like even now, how would I like to be talked to?
Mm-hmm.
How would I like to be corrected? And you got to try and keep that thought process in your mind as you're trying to de-escalate someone screaming at you because they no longer like the chicken nuggets that they just ate 5 minutes ago. So it's like, it's a lot, but it's awesome that you're seeing that and you're putting the things together. And speaking of being a dad and stuff, with like, how do you, with managing full-time job, social media, how do you manage to still be present and make that a priority with your work-life balance?
Do you guys watch Bluey?
Oh yeah.
I don't. I haven't.
No. Okay, you're familiar with it?
Big Bluey family.
But yeah,
So
we love Bluey.
the thing I see about Bluey a lot is that the dad is like, the dad, which is a dog, makes the rest of us look bad because he's such a good dad. And I saw this comment, I don't know, a year or two ago, that was like, this is a silly way to answer this question, but the episodes are 5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, imagine that's actually the only 5 minutes that dad is spending with his kids. And that's how good of a dad he is in those 5 minutes that he has. And maybe the rest of the day, Bluey's dad is working and doing something. And again, it's silly to like, you know, you never know where something very profound is going to hit you, like a comment on Instagram on a freaking Bluey meme. But, you know, I just was like, that is so great. Like, put my phone down, which I struggle with. I'll still be on my phone while I'm playing with it, but put my phone down and just get on the floor and start wrestling with them. And I mean, they're like ants when you drop food, man. You lay on the ground, they'll come crawling over to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Start playing with you and just trying to like, just be more present with them. Like yesterday, I just started throwing a soccer ball on the roof. And then when it would come down, I would like let it hit me in the head. And then I would like act like it, like, you know, concussed me. And my son just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Maybe I'm teaching him to be violent or something. But, and then today, all day, he's like, hey, can we go outside and bonk our heads on the soccer ball? Like all day today. And
how's your head feel?
Fine. It's just softballs. but you know, just making up games and like
Right.
just trying to be a kid again. You know, we go on the trampoline and I'm like, okay, how does the zebra jump? and they have to do a zebra impression.
Yeah.
So there, it'll be like, how does a zebra jump? How does a gorilla jump? And they have to make the noise. And so now every time we go on the trampoline, they want to do the animal noise game.
That's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
These are things that they'll remember, actually. Like, you don't
Yeah.
realize it, but
Yeah.
there's a good chance they're going to look back and remember these stupid things Dad used to do. And I think that's where a lot of dadisms come from, right? Like, you just being a jackass, trying to like make your kids happy and trying to be creative with them. And
Yeah.
my dad was like my dad's name is Dale, and all of my family and friends call him Dale Jokes. All of his jokes. And that's me now. And it's like, I just fully embrace it. It's just like, my kids love it. They laugh, like, whatever. I don't even care if it embarrasses myself.
Yeah.
It's all about them.
That's a
Yeah.
brilliant, that actually is a brilliant line that stuck out, like that you just brought up about the Bluey
The
thing.
yeah.
Mhm.
The 5 minutes, because that's totally true, because that's going to be probably the best 5 minutes of their day.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, that's the highlight. That's all they're going to remember. They're not going to remember the 20 minutes that you told them to wait because you had to finish something.
Yeah.
Their minds are so short term at this age where it's like that's all they need.
Yeah, like today I was teaching them how to skip. They don't know how to skip. So I was just teaching them how to skip, and we skipped around the house. And I was working, but I was like, here, let me show you how to skip. And we skipped for like 2 minutes. And then I went back to that's helpful. I work from home. So, that's kind of a
Right. You can
say
connect for minutes
unfair
at a time.
advantage, but that's also, it makes it hard to work and like focus on stuff. But
Sure.
And then so what y'all were saying earlier is like trying to get out in nature and go. I don't know. They're so young, man. Like 2 and 4. I took my son to a Rangers game 6 months ago, and all he talked about was wanting ice cream the whole time. And he and then
$16 ice cream.
Yeah, and then yesterday he literally goes, "Can we go back to the baseball game?" And I was like, "Oh, you remember that?" And he goes, "Yeah, and get ice cream." I'm like, that's a big take. But you know what? I guess that was his.
Whatever.
Big take.
Yeah.
You can actually like go out on scout tickets after the game starts for like dollars.
That's
Well,
what I should
depending on your market. We're in Minnesota, so like our teams are abysmal. So you can do this here. It's just game starts and you go get a couple seats for a couple bucks, and they don't know any different. You're not going to sit in the seat anyway. You're going to go walk around the concourse and look at all the things.
And get
Even
some
I've
ice cream.
gotten standing room only tickets at a Minneapolis game.
Right.
It was worth it.
See?
Yeah. That's
See?
definitely the move next time. I'm not getting nice seats like I did last time.
Right. John, today you put something on your Instagram that like I watched, like all your story posts.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw his story post from today, but talking about kind of like how hard it is financially to be a parent or just to be in this economy as a millennial. And I just thought that was a cool message that like a lot of people like to talk about, their state of their finances or like maybe struggles, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a real thing, especially with raising children. And so that resonated with me because I've had conversations with people on the side about that quite often.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, all my posts are comedy, but I'm trying to, do some more real stuff on my stories. Maybe I'll do it as posts. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. But I was talking with some friends today, and we were just talking about that topic about like how I think we all had it's a combination. I think we had an unrealistic expectation of what life was going to be like when we were all coming out of college. But I also think that then we got hit with a recession and all sorts of, crazy stuff. And, you've seen the graphs of the inflation and prices but like,
wages,
wages haven't gone up as high and all that. So that's real. But yeah, the stories he's talking about, I just basically was like, I am not where I thought I would be at this point in my life. And we have a great group of friends here in Dallas, but a lot of them, make really good money. And so that's, and I'm happy for them. I really am. But sometimes it's like, watching people go on vacations and getting new cars and stuff. And it's just like, oh man, like I'm working really hard. Like, how do I get to that next level? Um, and my point was like, just if you're trying your hardest, like, what else are you supposed to do? You know,
Right.
and really just have to change your mindset. Like, you just have to be grateful for what you have. I mean, I own my own home, and I have an awesome wife, and we have 2 amazing kids, and I have a cool job, and like I get to do social media videos, and now I'm on a podcast talking to new friends, and it's like when you look at my life, it's like there's literally nothing wrong
Right.
with that. You know, it's very It's a Wonderful Life is like one of my favorite movies. And that's like the whole entire message, right? Is that like he thinks his life sucks because he didn't go to the big city and become this big architect and this big deal and become a millionaire. Instead, he stayed in his measly little hometown, and married his friend's sister, and has all these kids and works a dead end job. What he thinks, and he doesn't realize that the impact he's having on a local level is massive, and the impact that he's had on his family and friends is massive. And that's I'm excited to watch that this Christmas. It's like therapy every time I watch that movie.
I'm gonna have to add that to the list.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's so true, right? Like we could all think about, man, like sometimes life just doesn't seem like it's everything you want it to be, but there's so many people that are looking at you going, man, this guy's got it made. Like this, like people look up to you and you don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And even just your children looking at you, they don't know how much money you make. Like they don't know what wealth is. All they know is what love is, and mom and dad are there every day.
Yeah. Well
So-
put. Well put.
Well,
It's
hey,
crazy.
how about the whole dreaded question that you were worried about coming on to this podcast? Grass.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
talking about grass on a grass podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose we can, touch on it. So you reached out to me with a question, I think, a long time, like early on, maybe this summer. I think you reached out to me with a question about grass, and I was basically like, I'm not a warm season grass guy. I
Mm-hmm.
can't be much help for you, but I can try to point you in the right direction. Like, what is your experience with lawns? I mean, like, are you just kind of like a minimalist?
Do you mow your own lawn?
Yeah. Do you mow it? Do you fertilize it? And do you know what kind of grass you have? It's kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, when I do mow my own lawn, I did have my lawnmower break, and I did not fix it for a while. So that was a period where I did pay someone to mow my lawn.
Well, that's
but
It's on the roof beside the lights now.
yeah, it's up on the roof. Actually, my
That'd be a
blower
decoration up there.
broke yesterday. I'm just like, it
whoa.
just feels like everything breaks all the time.
Christmas is coming.
Yeah. Anyway, when I moved into this house, the people that had lived here before me just completely let the lawn go. It was bad. Like I bet the weeds were 3 feet tall.
Ooh.
In the back, and it's a big backyard. Like it's 100 by 50 is the backyard.
Yeah.
And there's like an area that's carport and stuff, but still it's a lot. And so it took me 2 days just to mow the weeds, I should say. It's a mix of St. Augustine and Bermuda in the back. And it's actually a mix in the front. And I don't like that. I like St. Augustine way better. But I've never really like taken the initiative to like do anything about it. My thing is just like spraying it for weeds in the spring and just trying to like cut down on the weeds, because I don't feel like I've ever fully gotten like a handle on it. And I think that it's just, this is probably for you guys and your listeners is probably going to seem like an excuse, but like, it's just not like a big enough priority for me to like really go in and just, because it looks fine. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where I'm like really looking at it. I'm like, man, I wish I could like do something about this. But the first thing I think every spring is like, get these weeds out of here. And then over the summer, I don't have a sprinkler system, and it's 105 degrees. And so I'm out there watering. By August, I'm just, all the flowers die. I'm just over it, and at that point, I'm just trying to keep everything alive. And then when the fall comes, I'm just over it, and I don't need to do anything, because goes dormant, the leaves fall, and then I just start the process over again in the spring. So
Well, you have to understand that our listeners and the people that follow us primarily are the exception. Like you're like the average person, right? Like
Yeah.
you basically want to take care of your lawn well enough that it looks presentable and that the city's not knocking on your door, the HOA is not trying to fine you, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's completely cool with us. We totally support whatever. Like, it's just awesome that you even want to take care of your lawn yourself, period.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take in the shorts that I said Saint Bermuda when you first asked me.
Oh, it's okay. It's a
Cooler name anyway.
It's better than Saint Bernard or something, you know.
Yeah.
So, but in as far as Bermuda being with your Saint Augustine, I don't think you're going to be able to get the Bermuda out of there. It's basically impossible to kill. So, embrace it.
Yeah, it's going to be all Bermuda soon. So.
Yeah, it probably will be. And
St.
Bermuda by itself is a
Augustine,
really
St.
nice one.
Augustine becomes like more of an island in the back every year.
We actually have a guy coming on next podcast. He's from Texas too, and he is Bermuda. And what he did this year was he overseed it with perennial rice, so it stays green all winter down there. But yeah, his is all Bermuda.
Another pro tip when all your grass goes dormant is you can just take grass paint and paint it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then you can leave your Christmas lights on that are 30% complete and just turn those on. Got fake grass and you're good.
Great.
And some of the really nice homes here in Dallas have straight up AstroTurf. So,
Yeah.
I'm not
that.
surprised.
There's that. That's a whole nother bucket of worms.
Yeah.
So you said a lot of cement down in your area. So do people just have huge driveways that are extra
No,
wide?
I say that because it's just like there's
a big city.
no real nature. Or
Right.
anything.
Everything dies in
But
120
like when you're
degrees.
when you're flying over Dallas, like it's a ton of trees and in the neighborhoods. There's a reason like it's one of the fastest growing cities. It's a really great place to raise a family besides the heat. If it didn't have the heat, it's great. Like I love it down here. Now I've got friends in Minnesota and Maine, and when I go visit them in the summer, I'm like, okay, this is living. But then
In the summer.
then they're under snow for what, 8 months?
Yeah.
I got 6 inches outside right now.
God, yeah. We
Talking
probably
snow.
won't even get snow this whole winter. So
Yeah. I shoveled yesterday.
Hey, you're getting pounded this year already.
Well, yeah, we got 12 inches on Halloween.
did you really?
Yeah. They canceled trick or treating and they rescheduled it for a week later because there were so many trees and power lines, and I didn't have power for a day and a half. Yeah, it's one we'll always remember. And we just got hit with 6 inches a few days ago, and it's slowly melting.
I
But
remember that in Colorado when you had to your Halloween costume had to be something warm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the worst. Like when you have like my wife works really hard on Halloween costumes, and I'm like, are they gonna need a jacket over that? Because it's just
Yeah.
gonna go to waste, all your time and effort.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
yeah.
Get one that's big enough. Just put the coat under it. Snow
And the
pants
girls in
under it.
college don't care. It could be -4, and they're going to be out there
Oh,
with
they got their
3
whis-
square centimeters of clothes on. So
They got their whiskey jackets on.
right,
Vince, that's I don't know,
Boots.
16 years away.
oh,
ready for that?
snow? Hey, we had our
no,
first.
the Halloween for your girls is
Oh.
what I was more so getting at.
It'll be here for my girl before his. I have a 6-year-old. So
Doesn't
True.
it scare you of what life will
100%.
be like in 14 years?
I was just
Well-
thinking about the whole just phone and social media aspect of things. Like the phone can take you anywhere you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anyone, even adults, aren't prepared for the power that comes in your hand there of just
Yeah.
search anything. So that's what I'm.
Yeah, my mom's a 5th grade teacher, and she said that just kids are just growing up really fast because of all that.
Right.
Yeah.
They just know things they shouldn't. Like she said, some of the kids in her class, 5th graders, are talking about sexual stuff, which she obviously tells them to stop. But she's just like, where are you learning this stuff from?
Right.
Yeah. So they're 2 and 4 right now, and obviously don't have phones, so I just am focusing on that. But those thoughts
Goes
do
quick.
creep in my head.
Goes quick for
And
sure.
Chris, just today I was actually scrolling the internet, And your buddy, the radio host that you did his lawn, DeRusha,
Jason DeRusha.
yeah, I follow him,
Mhm.
and he was actually talking about like he just had this little clip on his from his show talking about like they need to take smartphones out of schools completely, ban them
Mm.
because of like the distractions and all that stuff. And I was like, you know, that's a whole different world. I mean, Facebook didn't even come into play until I was in like 7th grade, and still nobody knew about it. And smartphones didn't come around until I was practically in high school, which makes me feel old as crap right now talking about that. But we're all in the same boat, about the same age. So, and it's just like, yeah, we didn't grow up with that. Like, this is a whole different generation of kids.
We
And
grew up
how
with
is it-
Tamagotchis or whatever those
right,
things are called.
and I was not even allowed to have one of those. Or a dog, and now I have
Dogs.
dogs, and I'm like, they're killing my
And
lawn. Who wants
Tamagotchis.
them? Tamagotchis. So yeah, it's really weird. And you know, growing up on social media, I just don't know how it's going to affect kids.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And then like the whole like screen time thing is totally different. Like I don't think
Right.
I had a phone until senior year of high school, and that was because
Yeah.
of just a necessity because I had a car
Right.
or I was
basically.
driving around, you know, that kind of thing. But
And now
yeah,
your
man,
kids are
it's-
asking for their tablets, or you know, they pick up your phones and they're doing things you didn't even know they knew how to do.
yeah, it's
Right.
crazy.
Took like 5 minutes to send a text message.
Yeah,
Right.
'cause the T9.
T9 word.
Yeah,
I got good at that.
just to get to the letter O, you had to click something 4 times, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
we'll
did
figure it
we
out.
did family photos last weekend, and as the photographer was just taking pictures of us. I should say we have two we have twins and we have one on the way. So we were taking pictures of just us, and you know, with the ultrasound pictures and stuff. And we looked down, and our girls, they both had my phones. They're taking pictures and videos of us as we're getting
Is
pictures
that where
taken.
that weird story post came from? You put on Instagram. Your daughter sent it. It was just
Like,
leaves
what?
on the ground,
Are you
and,
serious?
like talking in the back. No, I'm kidding.
yeah,
I was like,
you didn't see that?
She uploaded it.
Yeah,
Oh,
man,
that'd
she's
be funny.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
There
like,
was text on the screen and everything.
You're 2.5 years old and you know how to open up a phone and take a video and take a picture and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
It's wild.
my kids and I do we do like guided drawings. So and it's on YouTube. It's this channel with like 7.5 million like subscribers or whatever. But it's guided drawings. You take out a blank sheet of paper, you have a Sharpie,
about
and it
that.
starts from scratch. Dude, it's brilliant for starters because they love it because they get to pick what they want to draw. They take turns doing it, and we all do it together. So like, there's your little bluey,
Yeah.
but bluey thing, right?
Yeah.
Kind of make it a ritual every couple nights. And it's crazy because as the creator side, you get to see like how they do their videos, and like
Mhm.
Genius, for starters, we're coloring and recording it and putting it on YouTube and probably making a killing doing it. But it's funny because they have a specific intro and specific like mannerisms going through the entire video, and then a specific ending. And it's funny because my oldest, he's about to turn 6, or excuse me, about to turn 7. He got a tablet, just like a Chromebook type thing, and he will just like go into the camera in there and just start like recording himself. And like, it's funny because we caught him like doing the intro and recording himself on like as if he was filming a YouTube video, because he sees
Mhm.
dad like does this for like a living now, and it's like, it's just crazy. They're gonna
My daughter is doing
they
it with
pick up
Barbies the other night.
so much of that stuff just from all the stuff that we do. Again, it's all revolving around screens,
Yep.
or what it feels like anyway. It's crazy. But I mean, it's a positive thing. You're taking screens and you're doing something positive with it.
Right.
But man, is it scary.
Yeah.
I
don't
mean,
know
there's
much
there's a
more.
reason
Yeah.
that a lot of the big executives of Facebook and Instagram don't let their kids on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah,
You're right.
so I mean, yeah, I don't know. Right now, I feel like I'm not gonna let my kid on social media until they're 14, 15, 16, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Right. Exactly.
You got a lot of time
Exactly.
until then. Who don't even know what kind of technology there
I
will be
know.
by then?
Well,
It's scary
this
to
is
think about.
this has been awesome. Like we could talk about this stuff for days. I feel like this has been great, John. Thanks for popping on, John. If you can remind everyone who you are and where they can find you on your social handles, if you have a website, etc.
Sure. Yeah. John the Dad. So it's at John the Dad 16 because at John the Dad was taken. So at John the Dad 16 on TikTok and Instagram. Just John the Dad on YouTube and Facebook.
Love that. Go give him a follow and a subscribe. He's got great, funny, relatable stuff going out. It's great. So thanks again for coming on and spending some time with us on this evening and a busy time of the year for us parents. But before we wrap, be sure to go check out thelawnfeed.com. Check out some amazing lawn gear to elevate your set of lawn sweatshirts and more. And check out a couple gifts on there that you can give to your fellow lawn dads and geeks out there in your circle. Use Brad15 at checkout, save 15% off your entire order on whatever you decide to get. And on behalf of the entire Lawn Feed, Andrew, Vince, and myself, thank you for joining another great episode. Stay safe out there. Good luck again on this week's venture of parenthood, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you guys.